welcome back to my channel. It's good to have you guys here today again. I missed you all so much. So if you're a new subscriber, thank you for joining this family. Thank you for clicking on that subscription button. And if you're an existing subscriber already, this is for you. Take it. So I've been away for a while, but even though I've been away, I've been trying as much as possible to keep you guys updated with everything I've been doing, my journey so far, with the surgery and everything. I've been trying to keep you guys updated, and I just want to say a very big thank you to each and every one of you who has been checking in on me, who has been praying for me, the love and the support on the previous videos that I have posted concerning this journey of mine. I cannot thank you guys enough. You guys are amazing. You guys are wonderful. That's just it. You guys are amazing. You guys are wonderful. Thank you so much for the love. Thank you so much for the support. This journey, I will say it for free, it is not an easy one. Imagine someone who is used to always going out of the house to do one or two things, but right now it's just as if you're stuck in the house. You have to make sure you recover and all of that. So it hasn't been easy, but God has been faithful. That's just what I can say basically. So this is like 3 weeks post OP, like post operation or post surgery, and I just wanted to come here talk about everything. So that is what this video is going to be about, basically, like everything you need to know, fibroid, the journey, and my advice, what you should do, before surgery, after the surgery, and everything you need to know. That's why I'm shooting this video today. So if you're excited about that, please don't forget to give this video a very big thumbs up, okay, and subscribe to join the family. So without wasting much time, I just wrote out some points here. So I'm going to be looking at my book, of course, while I'm talking, because I had to jot down some points that I want to, talk about. It's just, I have like 5 points basically that I want to talk about. So I don't intend to take you people's time, but it is important, okay? It is important if you're going for, a surgery, like a fibroid surgery, basically, because that is what I went through. It's a major surgery, Don't think it's like appendix. In fact, you cannot compare this major surgery with appendix. Appendix is tiny, like it's small when it comes to this other aspect. So, and another thing I wanted to say is, for those people that shame CS moms, shame on you guys, because it's not easy. Now that I have gone through that process, right, I can tell you for free that whether you're doing vaginal birthing or you're doing CS birthing, my dear, you are a strong woman, and you need to know that. So clap out for yourself, please, okay? A round of applause for all the women, all the strong women out here. So that's okay. So let's go into the video proper. I wrote here is, what are fibroids? Okay, so a lot of people do not know, even women, as women, we don't know like what these things are. So basically, fibroids are growths that can grow in or outside of the uterus. So they can grow around your uterus or inside of your uterus. So basically, there are growths like tumors, and stuff like that. So these things, like when you start noticing, any kind of, like, I used to say something, right, before I go there, I used to say something like, it's not every big stomach that is ordinary big stomach, and it's not every big stomach that is pregnancy big stomach. Some, like, ladies, we need to get it straight. Some people will be like, oh, na big belly I know key person. Sometimes you need to check yourself to be sure that you just have a big belly, all right? To be sure that it is not something else you are struggling with and you don't even have an idea. Because one thing I've come to realize is, amongst every 10 to 20 women you talk to today, 9 of them, already have these things, and some don't even know that they have it, right? So proper checks are very, very important, okay? Proper checks are very, very important. So that's what defined, or we've said what fibroids are. They're basically growths, tumors that grow around or inside of your uterus. And you already know the uterus is also another name for the womb. So what are the signs that you have fibroid? So what are the signs and symptoms that you are battling with fibroid? Like I said in one of my previous videos, I talked about how women battle with PCOS and endometriosis, you know, and the rest of them. Those are hormonal issues that women battle with. But today we're talking about fibroid. So, you know, what are some of the symptoms that you would notice, okay, when you have fibroids? So let me use myself for example. What I noticed first, like usually my periods are like very painful periods. Like if I'm my period is around the corner, it's as good as I'm sick. Like that's how I get treated, like even at home. It's as good as I'm sick. And this thing started since I think when I was in SS2, right? So that was when I started noticing this very painful, you know, period and all of that. But that is number one. For some people, that's the sign they get to see. So when I noticed like, okay, this is how my flow is, like it's very painful and all, I didn't really read meaning to it. Do you understand? Because I felt like, oh, it was normal, right? But most times my mom would be like, are you sure this your whole menstrual pain is normal? Because I don't have menstrual pain. Like when I was still menstruating, my mom is 60. She's no more menstruating. She has entered menopause, right? But when like she'll be like, oh, when I was in my period, like I don't used to have painful menstrual pains like this. So why is your own different? And amongst all your sisters, you're the one with this very painful period. So why is it like that? You know, it was just like questions here and there and all of that. But that's aside, right? That is just one sign for some people. Like when you notice that okay, your periods are like very heavy and very painful, like you go through serious pains, my dear sister, you need to go and check yourself in the hospital to be sure that all is well with you, okay? And another thing I noticed is before I even went to the doctor, I noticed that I had like a few pains under my underbelly, and then I also feel this hardness under my underbelly. At some point I was even feeling like, oh, it's not appendix, because I already did operation for appendix and it does not grow back. So what is the issue? Why do I have this hardness in that part of my stomach, right? I like the down part of my stomach, I will still like feel like hardness. You would think like there's stone inside your stomach. So I started that those things started like making me to question like, what is it? So luckily for me, you know, I decided to go to the hospital, and you know, of course it was confirmed. So that's another sign. Heavy menstrual periods are another sign. You think that you're bleeding. Like periods are not supposed to be like you're bleeding heavy. So if your periods are very, you know, heavy, you need to check yourself. If you feel any like, you know, stone feel like under your, like in your underbelly, you need to go, you know, and check yourself. There are various other signs too, right, of fibroid, that signs and symptoms that fibroids also give. If you're having like tummy ache, in fact, what even took me to the hospital, it was tummy ache. I was like, this tummy ache every time. It wasn't like menstrual pain, but it was like I used to have tummy ache. You can go and check yourself as well to be sure that you're free from these things, okay? Because they grow. And it's just like, say, a baby. The way as you're feeding, that is how the baby is feeding, and that's how the baby is growing inside of you. That's how these things are. So some people, their own is as big as a baby when they bring them out. You understand? The own is as big as a baby. I'm going to try and insert a picture, you know, of my own that was taken out, or my previous video rather. You would see a picture that I also, you know, posted there of it. You know, so those are like, you know, other signs too that you say, oh, okay, maybe I have this thing, or this thing is troubling me. And some people, funny enough, they don't even have like any sign, you know, until the thing is like very pretty serious. Some people, they have this bloated belly, like their tummy will be as if they are pregnant. That's another sign. That's why I said it is not all big belly that are big belly. Don't say that big belly I get, I know keep percent. Sometimes go and check yourself. It might be something else you're battling with and you don't even know it. For me, as flat as my stomach is, like even when I went for scan the first time, even the scanner, I don't know what they call them, I'm not a medical person. When she saw me, she was like, this is your stomach, you know. But they were there. And even when I asked her, like, I hope it's nothing serious, she was like, no, you don't have to worry about it. It's just a couple of them. The way she said this, you would think maybe it's like 1, 2, or 3, you know. But sorry to burst your bubble, there were a lot. Don't worry, I will insert the pictures and I will tell you guys more about it. So that's, you know, another sign. When you have very big belly, you'll notice that your stomach is protruding. Please go and check yourself. What steps should you take What are the steps you should take when you notice any of these signs? Like I said already, please go to the hospital. All right, as women, we battle with a lot of things, and you don't want a situation where it will get to that level of, I don't know what is happening, or maybe you're bleeding and this bleeding leads to anemia. You don't want something like that. So it is, the earlier the better. Go to the hospital, check yourself, let them do proper PV scan for you, right? Let them do proper PV scan for you, check your stomach, check everything that needs to be checked to be sure that you're not fighting any battles that you don't know about. Okay, so that's what I'm going to say. That's like the follow-up thing you should do after you started noticing the signs. You go to the hospital, check in with your doctor, make sure you do a scan, not just abdominal scan but a PV scan, so that they can see your womb area, you know, and everything that needs to be checked. Gynecologists, like, don't underestimate, you know, those people. It is very important. As a woman, you should make it a habit to visit the hospital, visit the gynecologist, let them check you very well to be sure that all is well. All right, moving forward, say what to know before getting a fibroid surgery done. For me, right, when I noticed, you know, what this thing was, right, when I went to the hospital, I asked the doctor, okay, so what should we do after they had done the PVs? Because the first scan I did was an abdominal scan, so she was just like, oh, they are a couple, you know, and all of that. But later, when the thing became more and I started feeling that hardness more, like sometimes I could hold on to like one of the, you see, like I could hold on to it in my belly like this. Sometimes I even tell my husband, like, babe, help me check this thing. Do you think it's normal? I feel like there's something in my stomach. It comes out like this, like a fist. You can feel the hardness, you know. So I decided to talk to the gyno and asked her, like, okay, so what should we do? So she told me that I have to go for surgery. That's what she said. That since I haven't given birth yet, it would be better if I do a surgery, remove them before I consider taking it, because it might also, you know, kind of like impede you trying to get pregnant and all of that. Or when you get pregnant, you start, you know, that there'll be like complications and stuff like that. You know, those are the things she said. So I was like, oh, okay, fine. If that's the case, let's go ahead, you know, and do this surgery, right? So she just, you know, talked me through. I asked her questions, you know, like, oh, what are what kind of cuts, you know. She was like, oh, if it's like a lot, they will give you like a C-section, and then they will still cut you like from your navel down, and before they will be able to take it out. But that if it's not like, you know, very very big, that they will just give you like a C-cut and then they will take them out. You know, I asked those questions. I wanted to know how painful the procedure was, you know, because yes, I did operation for appendix, but I had never gone for CS. So you can imagine, like, mentally, you know, even while I was filming like other videos, I was just telling God, well, if it's your will for this thing to happen, then so be it. But I know that you have, your plans for me are of good and not of evil, and I know that whatsoever, you know, you have already like say, okay, this thing will happen, it will happen, so let me not be bothered, right? I'm trusting in you. Just the same way I walked into the hospital, I'm going to walk out of it. So I just kept encouraging myself, giving myself like encouraging words like that, you know. So she did. I went to the hospital like a couple of times. So they're going to tell you to provide a blood donor, because when they are carrying out any surgery at all, they need to be sure whether you have blood or you don't have blood, like when in your own system, they need to make sure that they have blood standby just in case of emergency, like in the theater, and they need to like give you blood, like they need to transfuse blood. They will definitely ask you to get a donor. So for me, it was my husband who stood in for me, and he donated like 1 pint of blood. But as God will have it, I told God from the very beginning that the blood of Jesus runs through me, so I am not going to take any blood more than what is in my body. And by the grace of God, I didn't, you know. So that faith worked for me. So they're going to tell you to provide blood. They're going to book you, you know, for the surgery. So of course, if you are working, you know, you have to take permission from your workplace, you know, and all of that. So for me, they gave me 3 weeks, you know, of recovery before I can go back to work. It does not mean you are fully healed, okay? So don't go and start saying you want to, maybe after 3 weeks you want to go and start lifting or things like that. So they'll give you like, so depending on your organization, some people can give 1 month, some people can give 2 months, you know, and all. For me, it wasn't even easy. Even the 3 weeks, trust me, it's not easy, like staying at home, you know, without doing anything, especially for someone like me who is always very busy. You know, I get very bored easily. So yeah, so you know that. And then they'll prep you, okay? So they'll prep you before you go into the surgery. For like in my hospital, they admitted, after admitting, they'll prep you on what you should know about the surgery, like the procedure, the kind of anesthesia they are going to give to you, right? So unlike before that they give like the general anesthesia where you sleep off completely, it's not like that anymore. Like most hospitals these days, they give the one that you're going to see them perform the surgery. So for me, I was awake all through my surgery time, and it took like, I think the surgery time took like 2 hours, for me. And that's God again proving himself, because that's like the shortest time. When I was even trying to like read about the whole thing and all, I saw like 4 hours, 6 hours. Some people take 9 hours depending on how bad the situation is. But for me, on that 2 hours we were done, because I could remember going into the theater like around past 10 to 11 thereabouts. By to 1 or so I was already out. So yeah, so they'll prep you. The anesthesia people would come, to the when they admit you like a day before the surgery day. They'll come, they'll prep you mentally, just so you know the level of pain you might go through, right? Luckily for me, the hospital that I did mine, what they did was that they numbed me from my waist, like from my stomach right down. They numbed me, so even my legs, I couldn't move my legs. Like if they tell you I'm going to give you 10 million naira for you to raise your leg, like when the anesthetic person said it at first, I was laughing at her like, are you people serious? Are you sure I won't be able to lift my leg? Until I got into the theater, and then when they gave me that this epidural, I couldn't. I tell you guys, I'm not kidding. Like it was as if I was paralyzed, God forbid, but it was as if I was paralyzed. Like I couldn't move my legs. She was like, I told you. So but the good thing is that they prep you so that you will understand, they prep you so that you would understand what it's like and what you'll be going through, okay? So that mentally you're ready for it. It will not take you by surprise. You understand? So that was what the anesthetic person did. So that night they'll just come and check on you and all of that. They will drip you, because after you won't be able to eat again, like 12 hours to your surgery time, you won't be able to eat. So for me, I stopped eating I think around 7 thereabout. I think 7:30 thereabout. I had rice like after this thing by 7:30 or so. I had rice, and then that was it. So in the morning, like that was when they were supposed to do the surgery. Like anything latest 8-10, that was when they're supposed to do the surgery. So it's supposed to be like 12 hours after, so that your system is as good as empty, okay, before they can say they want to perform anything, because they are working with your womb. They are going to take out everything, and depending on, God forbid, right, but depending on how bad the situation is, before they can be taking out everything. So basically, those are the things that you should know, before surgery. And also before surgery, you need to make sure that you yourself, you prep yourself mentally, spiritually, emotionally. Prep yourself, okay? Know what you're going into. Ask questions as much as possible, because there are different types of procedures depending with how big this thing is. Some people, there's this I think it's laparoscopy or so. I'm not sure, but I'll check and put the right this in there on the screen, right? So there are different types that they do. So the one I did was a myomectomy, which has to do with a bigger incision, which was why they give me the C-cut. And for people that do that laparoscopy, that one, what they do basically is they take it out of your vagina, right? So they put like some things inside of you, like, and then they take it out. But that one does not include like a C-cut. They just give you like small incisions like on your belly or so. That's what they do. So there are different types, so you can read more on it, okay, just so that you know what exactly. Ask your gyno which type of surgery you're going for, okay, so that you will know. It's not because they're going to ask you like this question, like when you get into the theater, some of these surgeons, they might ask you like, do you know what you're going in for, and all of that. They might have everything written on the board already, but they need to be sure that even the patient knows what the person is going for, okay? So I think that's that. Then also before surgery again, you will try to this boo dress is part of the things I bought for my surgery, because I needed something that was free, that was not pressing my stomach, because you cannot afford to do that to yourself. You're going to be causing yourself so much pain, and trust me, you don't want that. You don't want anything that will cause you discomfort. I tell you, it is not an easy journey. If I tell you it's easy, it's a lie. I cried, guys. Like, there were days that I cried even after we got discharged from the hospital. I told myself, this shit is hard. Like, it's hard. I wasn't expecting this at all, but we'll get to that. So those are the things. So you have to get yourself like loose clothes like this that will be easy for you to wear, you know, after your surgery, so that you don't have to, because that place there, it's going to be very, very tender. So you know that you cannot afford to rub off anything, you know, on that part. So you need clothes that are very free that you can. So let's talk about the recovery period and what are the things that are most likely to happen during recovery. So that brings us to why I cried actually. So after we left the hospital, I left the hospital on the 5th day. So we spent 4 nights in the hospital and then 5 days in total. So I left the hospital, got back home. They put the plaster and everything, you know, and all. So of course, like, you need to know that, okay, you cannot start eating, you know, immediately. So after the first 2 days, right, I started eating after 2 days, because of the epidural they gave to me. They had to put the epidural on my spine, so they connected it to like my spine because of pain. So that epidural they gave me because they did not want me to go through that pain. That first 24 to 48 hours, the pain is usually very bad. Like, you cannot withstand it. I have gone through cuts before, so I know what I'm talking about. So for this, and for then, imagine that small cuts, the kind of pain I went through. So talk more of these very big cuts. You can imagine the pain is like you're going through pain times 3. That's what it is, like times 3. So imagine going for an appendix, but times 3 of it. You know what it looks like. Okay, right? So, you know, you have to make sure that, okay, they have to make sure that, for me, the hospital I went to, they have to make sure that, okay, that pain, I didn't feel that pain. Any small thing, if I complain of pain, they are coming to give me injection on my spine so that I don't even feel that pain. So for 2 days straight, you know, after the surgery, I was lying down. I couldn't move my legs were still numb, you know, and all, until they took out that epidural. Before, after a while, I think after like maybe an hour, 2 hours, then I started feeling my leg and moving the legs little by little. And then before I started working and all. So I had an experience, right? One of the nurses, you know, came and was like, on the 2nd day, get up and walk. You don't want to live here where your mates are living here. And I told her once, you're not my God. Like, when I need to stand up and walk, I will stand up and walk. But one thing is for sure, that the same way I use my leg to enter this hospital, I will use that same way to go out. So apparently she didn't know that when you have that fixed to your spine, your legs are numb and you cannot walk. And I told God that, thank God for that, I stood my ground, right? And I told her that I was not going to get up from the bed. Like, if it's for me to bath, my mom is here, she would bathe me, like she would do towel, because we're doing towel bathing like most of the time until like I got well. We're doing towel bathing, you know, until like I could start standing properly to, like, you know, for my mom to like shower me and all of that, you know. So, you know, that's one thing, you know, you should know, basically, like with the recovery. So after we got back, right, one of those days I started taking Lipton. Of course, I started, because they had to remove the drip, you know, and everything that was in the hospital. They had to remove those ones now as we're checking out of the hospital. So they had to give me medication. So with that medication now, they have to start testing you whether you can start taking fluid by yourself. So they'll start by giving you warm water. So if you take warm water, you don't throw up, nothing happens, then you graduate from warm water to Lipton. And then from Lipton, you start taking pap. And then that's how you graduate gradually, and then until you start eating. So for me, I was very, very careful. I will not lie. I was so careful. My mom would be like, eat. I said, no. Let's since it's pap that I'm taking and is accepting my body, let me just go ahead and take the pap. All right, my mom would be like, you're just so scared. I said, yes, let it be that I'm scared, but I don't want any complications like whatsoever. I want to, you know, go back to the hospital for review and hear good news from doctors, not going to the hospital and say, oh, this is happening. So one of those days I wanted to sleep. So when I got back, because you're going to be sleeping, you know, putting your back down and facing up. For somebody like me, right, I sleep facing down. Like, that's how I sleep. I sleep like a baby. But that's how hard this shit is. So it's just like you're pregnant and then you cannot sleep on your tummy. So you have to face up or you have to use your side. This one, my dear, you cannot use your side. Let me just tell you guys straight up now. You cannot use your side. So what we do basically is you have to use like a pillow. I started researching on how to sleep. because I got tired of like putting my back. All my back was sore. Like I'm just healing from it now. All my back was sore. Like I felt pain. For every time I get up, it's pain because I've been using that place to lie down. So the day I noticed this thing was, when we got back and I wanted to sleep. That night, it was on a Friday. That night was terrible, right? I laid down, facing up. I couldn't sleep. When I tried to sleep, it was as if there was a heavy load in my stomach that was sinking inside of my stomach. When I tried to turn my side, it was as if my whole stomach was shifting. When I tried to turn the other way, it was the same thing. So I joined Dunamis commanding the day prayer that night, and then luckily for me, they were also doing night vigil that night. So I joined all through. I was awake all through. I didn't sleep. So the next day, one of my pharmacist friend, my colleague's wife that works with the hospital, she called to check up on me. So I told her, like, babes, this is what I'm going through. I noticed that when I try to sleep facing up, I feel like my stomach is sinking and there's like a heavy load on my stomach, right? And then when I try to use my side, I feel like all my stomach is shifting to my side. So she now told me that that is the normal thing, that it happens, that every other person that has gone through this surgery is the same thing, and that is because they have also like worked, they had to bring out your womb, like bring out your uterus to do the surgery that they needed to perform. So all your organs basically are trying to like rearrange themselves. So right now, that's how you're going to be feeling, but after a couple of days, you will feel better. That day, guys, I cried. I went to the bathroom. I started crying. I was like, God, this thing is so hard. Like, it's so hard. How do I cope? So I had to devise a means. I started researching. So that was when I said, okay, you put a pillow here by your side. When you lie down, you put a pillow here by your side. You put a pillow here on this other side. And then you lie down like facing up, right? So by the time you try to turn, right, the pillow by the side would wedge this one, and then the pillow by the side would wedge this one. So it was funny, but it was very annoying at the same time. So basically what I used to do is, for me to be able to sleep, is I sit up. So we had to devise a means, myself and my husband, like I would sit up like this, and then I try to close my eyes, and then I try to like catch some little sleep, even if it's for 30 minutes, like that's what I can get, for that time. But the thing is, as the day goes by, it gets better. As the day goes by, as you're recovering, it gets better, and also I want you to know that after surgery, you might not be able to use the loo like immediately. So give yourself time. Don't be hard on yourself. When you feel like it is time for you to say, you can wee. Although before they do the surgery, or before they perform the surgery, they'll put a catheter on you. That catheter is a urinary catheter. They'll put it like inside of you so that you can easily pass urine. That way you're not going to the restroom, because I know that you won't be able to move as such. But after that, when you start taking liquid, you're going to remove that catheter off of you so that you can start working and start going to the restroom yourself. So you can do number 1, but when you are trying to do number 2, and it's like, don't force it, please. Do not force it. Take your time. Trust me, you will do it at your time. Like, you will do it later on. It does not have to be immediately. Don't force yourself to heal. I beg of you. Don't force yourself. Give it time. All of these things is time. You will be fine. You will be back to your normal daily life again. See me, I'm not fully back. Like, I'm not fully there, right, when it comes to the healing, but God has been faithful. I am healing. Like, every day I see progress. Now I can, walk, more distance than before. So what I tell myself is, time is everything. Time is everything. When the time comes, I'll go back to my normal daily life. So that's it. So another thing is the type of food, that you're meant to eat this period. So I would advise that you concentrate more on fiber foods, okay? Concentrate on taking fruits, concentrate on taking a lot of liquid. Don't be too in a hurry to, like, you want to eat so much food. Don't be in a hurry. Vegetables are good for you, because you need something that will loosen your system for you to be able to even go to number 2 easily. So if you go and eat something that is very hard, right, that's when you start eating. If you're gonna eat something that is very hard, when you want to do number 2, it will be very difficult. So, and constipation is one of the things that usually happen to a lot of people when they do this surgery. So you want to help yourself to ease that constipation. You don't want to be constipated. Like, you, even up till now, right, my tummy is still swollen because the swell does not disappear immediately. I'll tell you that one for free. swell, even when I asked the doctor, like, when do I notice, like, okay, this is, it will might go down a bit, but it does not. It takes, he even told me clearly, like, it takes 2 to 3 months. A friend of mine that also did the procedure sometimes back told me the same thing, that I should not even be in a hurry, like I should not focus on that aspect, right? That the bloat, like the swell of the belly will go down, you know, after this thing, because there are tissues, everything they will all melt and go down when they need to go down, okay? And you will notice that that part is also hard. Don't be in a hurry to go and be touching and don't, please don't use your hands to be touching your cut. Don't, so that you don't complicate things for yourself. All right, so I think that's another thing. So, and then you need to know, like, okay, I talked about clothes and all that things. These are things that, you know, you need to do, like the recovery period and all. And then some people that want to jump into it, especially like the married people. If you are single, well, good for you. But some of the married people, I know you want to go back to your everyday life with your baby boy and stuff. Please, you cannot do that, because you're going to be endangering yourself, right? So there's nothing like, I want to do, you know, there's nothing like that. There's nothing like wanting to be with your baby boy for that period. So you have to give it time. You know, most times they'll be like, okay, maybe after 2 months, you know, you can do all of that. But when you are trying to have babies, you have to give it more time to heal properly, because that is the same part where the baby will still grow. So please, you have to give it time. So all of these things, just make sure you talk to your doctor. Don't be shy about it. Trust me, it is your life. Don't be shy about it. Open your mouth. Ask me. I ask questions. So I'm sure the doctors in that place, they even got tired, because me, I ask questions like, okay, what this one, or if I want to start trying, or when will it be, or, you know, just questions like that, just to make sure that I have every information that I need at my fingertips. It's not like I'm just like, you know, saying it off of my head or something. You get? So those are the things I think basically that you need to know, you know, about, you know, the process, like you getting to know about the fibroid, going to the hospital for checkup, you know, the surgery, the post-surgery, you know, and all of that. So by the grace of God, very soon I'm going to be resuming back to work. But for now, I'm not going to be stressing so much. I'm going to take it one day at a time. Don't expect that you will start running immediately you resume and papa, or you start. Me, they gave me only 3 weeks. So by the grace of God, I'm strong. You know, the only thing is that when I overwork myself, I feel pain. So I try as much as possible not to overwork myself. I just like to stretch. Like, you cannot be doing exercise. So when I say stretch, don't get me wrong, it's not exercise. I like to walk around the house or walk outside of the house just to take fresh air and come back inside. Okay, so those are the things that, you know, I thought, you know, would be helpful, because some of these things nobody told me. I started experiencing them, you know, and crying, and then I started looking for a solution. So because this video might be helpful to 1 or 2 or 3 persons, okay, and you never can tell, it might be someone close to you who is going to go through it, or, you know, but at least this video is going to be helpful to some of those people who are going to go through it. So I think basically that's all. I don't think I have any other thing, you know, written down here. So yeah, in all, that's all. But just pray to God, okay, in all of these things, God is a giver of life. Speak positive energy, like speak positivity to yourself. That was one thing that took me through the process. Like, for every time that it comes to my head, like, oh, Vanessa, you're going through this thing, I tell myself one thing: the same leg I use in walking to the hospital, that same leg, I'm going to come back home with it, you know. So, and that was what happened. So keep that positive energy, you know, that positive spirit, keep it going. Pray as much as you can. Hold God tight like this, because it's not funny. And I will tell you for free, the pain is not funny. So if you're going to experience it, prepare your mind. So once you prepare yourself emotionally and psychologically, you know, mentally, you're good. Because those are the things that held me like strong. I was still posting. People did not know what I was going through, like behind closed doors. I was still updating groups that I joined, you know, about 1 or 2 things. They did not know what was going on with me. And also, I just want to say a very big thank you for, you know, to my friends that really see in this life, just have amazing people. My mom was super strong for me that period. Like, she came, she took care of me. My husband was like, he's my, you know, angel sent on earth. He took care of me. He took care of myself and even my mom. At a point, my mom even fell ill while she was taking care of me. He was like our, you know, backbone there. Like, he was doing everything just to make sure I was comfortable. He was, you know, very positive as well. He told me, go in there, come back, I'm waiting for you, you know. And that was what happened. You know, he will come to the hospital to see me. He'll say, the house is lonely without you, do and come home. I say, I will come, you know, and all of that. So I'm very, very grateful to, you know, to my mom, my husband, to my friends, Platitude. Miwa, if you're watching this video, thank you so much. You already know how much I love you. You're a very good friend. And not just a good friend, you're a sister to me. Thank you so much. My friend Gracie, my friend, Kuma, God will bless you people for me. That night, that Friday night when they did the surgery, all of them packed themselves and came to the hospital. My colleagues in the office, my Tempo Energy team, God will bless you people for me. Like, they kept on checking in on me, you know, every now and then, just to make sure that I was fine. They came by the hospital to see me, you know, and I'm very grateful for each and every other person that also checked up on me this period. That when they saw my post, they started checking in, they started praying for me, they made sure that they were checking in on me to make sure that I was fine. God bless each and every one of you, and I pray that you don't go through this thing. But then again, health is wealth. So if you're noticing any of the symptoms that we have mentioned or not even mentioned, please do your research, go to the hospital, okay, and have it removed if need be. Don't be saying, like, some people will be like, oh, I want to do herbal this thing, you know. Please, me, I don't trust the whole herbal thing, sha. So it is better to go to the hospital or you pray to God for deliverance. That's all I can say, because I believe that, you know, a lot of people, some people get saved, you know, some people, they are shrink like that. You don't, you know, that's why it's a miracle. You are not supposed to understand miracles anyways. So that's it. So please and please check yourself more regularly. So with that being said, I have come to the end of, you know, this video. Okay, I know it's very lengthy already, but trust me, it is worth every bit of it. I did not get this information, you know, from other people. I watched a couple of YouTube videos before I went into it, but some of them didn't mention these things, because some of them, their own, you know, procedures were like lesser than my own. Mine was a major, you know, surgery. They took out 16 fibroids from this small stomach of mine, you know, so you know what that means. But I'm thankful to God at the end of the day, all glory is going back to him. He did what he needed to do. Kept me alive. He saw me through. I am healing fine, and I know that my healing is permanent. I have like reviews. I've been going to the hospital for reviews, you know. They've been checking me, they've been telling me you're healing just fine, you know, and everything, and I pray that it will be permanent in Jesus' name. So yeah, with that being said, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, share this video. A lot of women need to watch it. Please share, especially in Nigeria. These women, we tend to ignore things a lot. Please share this video to them. Let them watch. Your sisters, you know, your nieces, and please share this video to them. Your aunties, anybody that's a female in your household should watch this video. So I will see you guys in my next video. All right, yep, with that being said, stay blessed, stay beautiful as always. Okay.